This is probably the most important part of the DIY. I say that because it's going to be the part that gives us the most dramatic results. Today, what Garth and I are going to be doing is doing the start of our paving. And we've got a beautiful paving slab that we're using. It's called a smart tile. But before we get going to that, what Garth and I have to do is measure up the area to make sure that we're starting in the right spot. Now, the first thing we need to do is work out where our central point is. Now, these doors are going to remain here, and because these opening up ones like this, we're going to use that as the center axis for the entire patio. So the way we need to get that line to follow right through across the area is we're going to put a spirit level down, and then, Garth, I think we're about right there. Okay, let's get a line going all the way along. How's that? Let's put a line all the way along here. We're going to draw it onto the patio because in time this area as well is going to get a bit of a facelift. Now that we've got that line over there, very happy, we bring that line down from here and we're going to do another line straight across here. Garth, let's just pencil that in. Brilliant. Now, that's the worst part done. Remember though, if you are working at home with a patio that maybe does not have a house alongside it or any type of straight wall, it's really important that you do work your central point and get that right. Start from whatever wall you have and walk away from that. That really is critical, else you end up with your lines going crooked. Either always work with a spirit level or a straight edge, just to make sure that you are going in the right direction. Now, the tile that Garth and I have chosen, it's a smart tile from Smart Stone. Take a look at it. Most important thing is that it's nice and thin, so it's not an ordinary paver. Now, if you were working on a surface that did not have a concrete as a base, then you would use the thicker pavers, which is just your ordinary standard pavers. However, because we've already got this concrete base, we don't need to really worry about the groundwork. So just to show you what the look that we're going for, it's going to look something like this. We're going to have the cobble going all the way around here as an edging. And then from that, we are then going to start, and notice, here's my line. We are then going to be taking the smart tile and that, one on that side, because this is our center axle, and one over here. Now, that's the basis. From these two guys, everything happens. You go out that way and you go out this way, because we're going to make sure that these two are just in the right spot. First up, we need to get our mixture ready. Now, the critical thing when you are doing a big area like we're going to be working on here on the paving is to rather mix small batches than mix one huge batch and then end up with it sitting. Generally, in terms of working with your mixture, it's much better to do it in the small batches. So, Garth, what are we doing here?
Right, Tanya, what we're going to do, we're going to take in 3 buckets of plaster sand.
Right.
To 1 bucket of cement.
Okay.
Then we'll add a little bit of water at a time to give us a nice runny mixture.
Okay, so we want a slurry.
Like
basically.
a slurry, yes.
We're going to end up with a sloppy slurry, almost like a thick yogurt.
That's
Am
right.
I right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go for it. And we're using a fine plaster sand here, Garth. Could people use a fine river sand as well?
I wouldn't recommend a river sand for under the smart tiles, Tanya.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
of the smart tile, because it's so thin, that's why we're going with the plaster sand.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then we're doing one cement,
One cement.
Okay. Because we're dealing with quite a large quantity here of the 3 parts of plaster sand to the 1 part of cement, what we're going to do is empty it onto our board, the board that you always need when you're doing DIY projects, and then we'll add the water onto here as our standard mixture. Great, Garth. I think this is very well mixed.
Yes, Tanya.
This is actually a beautiful quality plaster sand that we have here. Very well mixed in together. Can't see the difference between that there was cement here and plaster sand separately. Now, easiest way, take your spade, make a little well in the center. Okay, and let's hit it with the water. This is our big muffin mix. Garth, this is looking absolutely perfect.
Yes,
lovely and runny. Look at that. Thick Bulgarian yogurt. Only difference is we're not going to eat this.
That's right.
Okay, in the barrow, and then let's head off to the patio. Okay, Garth, we're going to move these smart tiles out the way.
Okay.
We're not going to need them for now.
Right.
Let's just pop them down here. Right here. So, first things first is we're going to be doing our cobble edging using this half moon here from the step as our base. So, let's take these guys away.
Before you put down the concrete mixture, wet the surface a bit. This will ensure the concrete mixture adheres to the existing tiles really well. Next up, put down a layer of the concrete using a trowel. Now you're all set to begin placing the cobblestones.
Garth, explain the knack of putting these guys down, because I see they've got little joining marks there. Does that all matter?
Yes, Tanya, this is actually a little lug to give it even a spacing, so when you have to put grouting in between to close up.
Oh,
Yeah.
So all you've got to make sure is that they're butted up against each
That's
other.
right.
So let's just show the folks at home how it'll look. So there's a little lug and there's a lug. So when you put them together, that's your even spacing. Ah, these people are clever, aren't they? Okay.
Okay, Tanya, all you've got to do is put him on your line, the center line that we have got.
Okay.
You can leave it a little bit of a gap there for grouting afterwards.
Okay.
And just give it a slight tap. You'll see we do get a little gap as we go around the corner, but that can get filled up once everything is dry.
But that's because we're working
On a bend.
on a bit of a bend here.
Correct,
Okay.
Tanya.
All right, can I carry on down this end?
Yes, Tanya. Right, we're putting the last one in. This one's fitting so nicely, nice and snug. And once he's in nicely, another important thing is, if you're not going to continue laying, is to remove this off now. Because if you leave it until the next day, it's going to be so hard that you'll end up making all your cobbles loose.
Okay, Garth, let's start. First up, what we've got to do is make sure we remember where our line is. There it is. Okay, and that's the all-important part where we're going to work off that way and off this way.
Remember to wet the surface first. Then throw down some concrete mix. Level it out a bit with a trowel, and then you're all set to start laying down the tiles.
Okay, it's always good just before you're going to put your smart tile down, just to make a few little lines across it, lift it up a bit so that it's not really just a flat area to work on. Okay, Garth, let's give it a bash. Lovely stuff. Okay, making sure that we're on the line. A little tap. Make sure that it's sitting nice and snug, and that's what we want. And then we're going to do the one on that side to form our baseline where we're then going to work off. As you're going along with your smart tiles, you're going to find some imperfections and where it's not really all that level, just like this here. Here's a perfect example. But now let's just fix this quickly. All importantly, put a trowel underneath it, lift it up because it forms a bit of a suction, and put a bit more of the mixture underneath there. Okay, that should be enough, Garth.
Yep.
And then pop it down. Once again, give it a bit of a tap, and Bob's your uncle. Sorted, much better. Look at that, there it is. Let's put the level on. Fantastic. Couldn't be better if I did it myself. Work has been happening fast and furiously here with laying down the tiles. We're now nearly at the end. Literally, we've got this little area over here, and this is really the cool part when you know that you've nearly got to the end. And all we've got to do is carry on in the same process as we've been going all along. We might end up having to cut one or two of the little cobbles when we're getting to the edge over here, but I doubt it. I'm hoping that we might be able to get it right. And look at that. It's perfect, Garth. We're going to pop this little guy in, and that is our cobble edging complete. Looking great. All we got to do now, remember, finish it off with a bit of cement in between, and we're going to clean it all up nicely on the edge. Don't ever let that dry, because then you have to chip it all off and it becomes a real pain. So get that all done now. As we're going along, now that we've done, let's just check our levels to make sure that we're on the right track. And Garth, let's get this cleaned up, and then we can finish this paving and be done. Right, now that the cobble line is in, the last thing that we've got to do is put in the last two pavers. Now, as you can see, as we've been following on the rest of the line, you have to do some cutting. Here you're going to need an angle grinder, pair of goggles, and a very, very fine line to work off. Cut and ready. Are these guys going to fit?
They will fit, definitely, Tony.
Okay, we're going to check that out a bit later. Garth, just as a final recap, what are the points that folks need to remember when they're doing this at home?
Right. First thing, if you're going to put tile and cement onto another existing cement,
right,
make sure you dampen it.
Right, which we've done already.
Right.
Okay.
Second is your mixture. Make sure there are no small stones in your mixture.
Oh, that is so painful, because when you put it down and then you're trying to level it, and then you're wondering why it won't level because there's a stone stuck underneath it.
That's correct.
It's just irritating.
And then you're ready to go.
Okay, let's throw these guys in. Garth, let's just recap. What was the mixture that was used here?
We're using 3 plaster sand to 1 part cement, yeah?
Right.
Plaster sand is much finer than a building sand. Building sand, you find a lot of little stones, even guinea pebbles inside
right,
there.
For sure.
And to tap your tile down on there, you're going to have to replace that tile.
Right, we got it. So now that we've nice and place, agitated a bit, here we go. Let's take a look. In this little guy goes. There we go. Fantastic. Of course, now this is the part where you've just got to tap him down. Let's check this joint. Oh, look at that. Simply gorgeous. And this guy
Hopefully goes in.
Gonna go in just like that. Sure, I will tell you, this paved area has been a mammoth of a task. It has taken, although you're watching it for about 15 minutes, it's taken days. But the good news is that it's done.
It's done.
And it looks absolutely gorgeous. Last bit that we've got to do now is grout it, and then we're going to show you just how lovely and how transformed this new area is.
The Gardener is proudly brought to you by PPC Cement.